Sushi? Vegan sushi? if it's fish, it's almost guaranteed to be contaminated with mercury, PCBs. I mean, so fish are like the sponges of our water. And think of all the farming chemicals, the chemicals people spray on their lawns, sewage. I mean, I got some stats coming up about how much waste animals produce, and that's got to go somewhere. And so it's the fish, even if they were healthy for us to eat, they are completely contaminated with more chemicals than you can even list. So
I think we think because they're in fresh water.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they look like such a healthy thing to eat.
Yeah.
But I've read too that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
if you gave up meat, but you're okay with fish, thinking that one's not as.
Right.
It's like
and
the
that's
white meat, right?
Yeah.
The other white meat, whatever.
Yep. I know. That's what most people think is
Right.
fish is healthy and
Especially
chicken is healthy. You know, they're both super bad.
I read an article yesterday, followed the path of the Mississippi River from all of the pesticides that flow down into the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
And that whole Gulf of Mexico, all the bacteria that's growing.
Yeah, it's a dead zone.
And it's killing,
Yep.
our natural
Everything.
resources, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again like some of the stats about some of the ocean dead zones that we have now, which an ocean dead zone is where it's just a space in the ocean where no life can live because of all the farming chemicals and the animal manure that gets dumped into our water from farming. Nothing can live in it. So that's what we're doing to our natural resources. Okay, so the joy of abundance is, I mean, that's like the hallmark of plant-based diets because they are low-calorie foods, but they're high in fiber and high in water. So they fill up your stomach and they make you full a lot faster. So you feel like you're eating a lot more, but you're not. You're eating way fewer calories, but you're getting a bigger volume. So like we talked about the oil, 120 calories per tablespoon. You can fill it, you'd have like 100,000 calories if you filled up your stomach or whatever, but you'd have like 600 calories if you fill up your stomach with fruits and vegetables, you know? Something like, I made that up, but. So you can eat pretty much as you want, whole foods, whole fruits and vegetables. You can go to town, just eat as much as you want, and you won't have to worry about the calories, you don't have to portion control, you don't have to, track everything. Maybe at first it's a good idea just to get an idea of kind of where you're at, but just keep it moderate to low fat, because again, fat, regardless if it's animal fat or plant fat, it's still 9 calories per gram, and so you still don't want to eat too much plant fat either. You can make all your favorite meals, literally, any meal or dish that you think that you love and you can't give up, I guarantee you that you can make a plant-based version of it and it's going to be just as good, like if not better. We got our fruits, and I mean this is just another example of how this is what we're supposed to eat. You look at this. I mean, I could show this on any news station. I could show this at a kid's birthday party, but you think they would let me show a slaughterhouse or a dead animal? Nobody would look at a dead animal on the screen and like salivate, So it's just kind of, you gotta think about, if we were out in nature, would meat really look appetizing to us naturally? Like if we saw a dead animal, would we salivate? I wouldn't. Even in my biggest meat eating days, I would, I just didn't understand what it was. And so, but anytime I see fresh fruits and vegetables, if I smell some berries or, fruits are the only food that we can eat without altering at all. So we don't have to season it, we don't have to put sauce on it, we don't have to put spices on it. So that's how you know fruit is our species. Every species has a specific food that it eats, you know? Cats eat meat, dogs can eat both, they're omnivores. Cats are carnivores, dogs are omnivores. You know, all the other apes eat a lot of fruit, a lot of greens, and what animal do we look most like? Our digestive system is set up the exact same way, and so it just kind of gives you a hint at what our natural diet should be. If we didn't have all this marketing telling us, oh, you gotta drink milk for calcium, you gotta eat meat for iron, you know? These are just things we're being told by industry because they want us to buy their products, and it's that simple. The importance of whole food, again, the fiber. Fiber feeds your gut microbiome, it feeds the bacteria in your intestines, and without a healthy population of bacteria in our gut, we don't get the short chain fatty acids that they produce, which regulate our hormones, which regulates inflammation, regulates our hunger, regulates our bowel movements. It's super important to have a wide diversity of bacteria living in our gut. And fiber is how you get them there. You want to eat as many variations of fiber as you can to build up a diverse population of the good bacteria. The not so good bacteria thrive on animal products. And the byproducts that they produce, the postbiotics, are not what you want. They're inflammatory and highly toxic. Promotes proper digestion, absorption, elimination. If we're not eliminating on a constant basis, we are accumulating all the toxins that we've been ingesting through all the pollution that we live in our food, in our water, in our air. So we have to be constantly eliminating all that stuff. And one fiber has an affinity for those things. It grabs onto them and pulls them out of the GI tract. And so, again, eating enough fiber is going to help pull out excess hormones. Our body dumps estrogens and cholesterol and all these things into our intestines to be eliminated. And so without the fiber, we reabsorb it and it goes right back in. So we don't want that. Reduces inflammation and, again, the microbiome and hormones. So we're getting rid of refined and processed foods. You know, this just kind of compares them. No fiber, it's going to absorb too quickly, and a lot of the nutrients aren't going to be there. Oils are too calorie dense. Sweeteners are not good for blood glucose and all that. Hyperstimulating foods, this is why we're so addicted to certain things, because they know how to addict us to these processed foods. They put in sugar, they put in oil, they put in all these MSGs and, you know, flavorings that make us super addicted to it, and they're inflammatory, and they do not have a good effect on our microbiome. Weight management, so the stomach stretch reflex, that's where the food starts to push on the walls of your stomach, and so that sends hormones out, lets your brain know that you've had enough food, you can stop eating. Propionate is a short chain fatty acid that is produced by the bacteria, the good bacteria in our gut that lives on the fiber that we eat. It's a natural appetite suppressant, so it's just another mechanism that the body uses to regulate our hunger. Sensory specific satiety, this is where I'm sure you guys have been eating, like you've been super excited that you've been wanting your favorite food, and you start eating it, and it tastes super good at first, but then as you keep eating it, it loses its effect, and you kind of get over it, and you don't want it anymore. That's sensory specific satiety. They've done studies where they gave groups of people, the same group of people, first day they gave them a 4-course meal, and every course was the same food. And the next day they gave them a 4-course meal, and every course was a different food. And the day that they had the different foods, they ate 60% more calories. So it's kind of like when you go to a buffet. Buffets are, you know, it's kind of like notorious for you just stuffing yourself. You know, like there's so many different things, you just want to eat everything. So that's the different foods, and especially the things, the hyper-stimulating compounds they put in them, the sweeteners and things like that. That keeps us, it like kind of bypasses this mechanism, So this mechanism is basically there to keep us eating a variety of foods, but it keeps us from overeating when we're eating something we like, and so we move on to something else, or like stop eating, essentially. Nutrient density, the more nutrients we get in, it lets our brain and our body is looking for a wide variety of nutrients that it needs, and if we give our body the correct nutrients, it's going to help with our appetite, with our hunger, and just all of our organs and glands and everything. More oxygen is going to get to your cells and tissues and nutrients because your blood and your lymphatic system are flowing more smoothly. They're much more thin and able to get through those tiny capillaries that lead to all your different tissues. And so you're going to have more energy, reduced chronic disease risk. You're going to get rid of all these things: saturated fat, cholesterol, animal protein, bacterial endotoxins, which you cannot cook out of food. This comes from the bacteria that are in the flesh, and when they die, or even when they don't die, they excrete inflammatory compounds, which they call endotoxins. And regardless how long you cook it, no matter what way you cook it, you can't get rid of it. And once it gets into your bloodstream, it sets off an inflammatory response. It paralyzes your blood vessels so they can't constrict and relax as well. TMAO is it's a byproduct. It's bacteria produce it. It's TMA, trimethylamine, and then it gets sent up to your liver, and your liver oxidizes it, and then it's TMAO, and so then that is a risk for heart disease. The environment, greenhouse gases from all the animals, methane is coming out of the cows and all the other animals, and that's way more of a problem than CO2, which is what they distract us with, to not focus on animal agriculture. Rainforest deforestation, 1 to 2 acres per second of our rainforest is getting cleared. Per second, I can't even imagine what that looks like. 91% is due to raising livestock. Land use, nearly 80% of the world's arable land, so the land we can use for agriculture, is used for grazing and growing crops to feed to the animals. World hunger, 50% of our grain is fed to livestock. Takes 12 pounds of grain to beef up those animals and get 1 pound of beef. 12 pounds of grain to get 1 pound of beef. And currently, we grow enough food at this very moment to feed 10 billion people. So nobody should be going hungry, yet there's a lot of people going hungry. It's insane. Water scarcity, 55% of our water in the whole United States goes to animal agriculture. 2,500 gallons for 1 pound of beef. That's, it goes into the crops that they have to water, and the animals drink it and all that. Land and water pollution. Every 1 minute, 7 million pounds of excrement is produced by the animals that we're raising. And that's got to go somewhere, right? So they've got a lot of ways that they're getting rid of that, and it's not for our benefit. The chemicals that they spray in the GMOs that they feed these animals are getting into our water. 95 million cows are in the U.S., 75 million pigs. So you just gotta try and picture what this looks like, because it's hidden from us. We don't get to see this stuff. Ocean dead zones, we talked about. It's from the animal waste and the chemicals that they're using in the farming. And then we're killing most of the species on this planet. Overgrazing and habitat loss, so they're cutting down the rainforests. It's killing 110 animal or insect species every day in the rainforest. The rainforest is where the most diversity of species is, and we're clearing it out, and we're destroying all that habitat and all those species. Humans and farm animals are 98% of the biomass now. That's that's wild animals and domesticated and us. 2% wild animals, 98% humans, and the animals they're raising for food. 2.7 trillion animals are pulled from the oceans every single year. A lot of that is just garbage, because it's not garbage, it's other animals that we don't eat. And so it's just bycatch. So either they sell it for a discounted price, or they just get rid of it, or they just kill it. But yeah, so sorry to be a downer at the very end.
No, it's good.
Yeah. So this is what we can do if we go to a plant-based diet. 50% less carbon dioxide, 1/11 of the oil, 1/13 of the water, 1/18 of the land, and that's being compared to somebody that eats meat regularly. So we can't rely on government, because government is controlled by industry 100% basically. So we are the ones that have to make this change to make government change. So they follow us, and so that's what we got to do. All right, so that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Detoxify your mind and body. Be the change you want to see. Small steps towards living better. Small steps to where I want to be.